Bridget.
Hey, Hattie, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How have you been? What have you been up to?
I'm good. I had something that I wanted to chat with you about today because,
Oh,
yeah, my partner and I have been watching the Great British Bake Off, right? That's when we need like something nice,
love it.
no drama, just, escaping from the world a little bit. And we started talking
Mm.
about like British stereotypes because I obviously I have friends that are from the UK, but
Mm.
he doesn't, and so he's always so intrigued about like, oh, what, like, are your British friends actually like this, and what do they do? So I feel like I want to talk a little bit about stereotypes, and I'm sure there are stereotypes about like Americans too, and so maybe we can dive into that later. But
Yeah.
one of the things that comes up a lot is tea. Like drinking tea, and then I also tried to explain like tea, like instead of saying dinner, y'all will say like, "Oh,
Mm.
it's time for tea," or like, "Do you want to meet for tea?" But tea doesn't always mean the drink tea. So
Yes.
like, what is that all about?
Oh my God. That's a really good question. Like, I can't remember the kind of proper answer for like tea versus dinner. So there is like, apparently there is a difference, but I kind of, it's like one of those things, maybe because I've just like grown up in the UK, I just don't think about it. Like sometimes be like, oh yeah, oh, what do you want? Oh, because my mom, she'll say like, oh, like when I was younger, she would say, oh, what do you want for tea?
hmm
As in like not drinking tea, as in like tea as in
Like food,
dinner.
like dinner. Like
Yeah,
the
food.
meal between what, 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock or something, PM?
Yeah. So, because yeah, I never like in my head, I never, although it's like literally same word, same spelling, I never connected it.
hmm
So that's so interesting.
Because
But
even as an English speaker, like if I'm thinking
mm,
of non-native English speakers learning English, like that's a
yeah.
whole nother use of the word that I was confused about the first couple times that I heard it. I was like, why are we gonna meet up for a drink? Like I'm
Mm.
hungry at at 5 p.m. I don't want a caffeinated beverage. Like let's go for
Yeah,
food, let's go for dinner. But not realizing that you can actually mean tea in that
tea
context.
is in food. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because I can't remember if it also is like a regional thing. So I should have studied for this, but yeah. So
Well, just
I think I don't know if it's a regional thing because yeah, because like my mum, she's from the Midlands, so sometimes the words she uses. So even I know there's like differences between British English and like American English in terms of
oh
words,
yeah.
but even within like British English, we have different words for the same thing.
That's so funny.
So yeah, it gets like really confusing sometimes. I can't even imagine for people learning English.
Oh gosh, yeah. No thank you on that. Yeah, but that's a big stereotype of the US is or like that Americans have
Drinking.
of
I
the
think
UK is
tea
just drinking
is like
more
a big
tea
one.
than anything else.
Because I think in America they like it's like more coffee culture.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, tea is
But
not
see,
really unless it's like chai. Like chai is becoming a thing here now,
mm.
right? Like a dirty chai latte. And sometimes I order it just
Mm.
because it's fun to order. But yeah, we don't drink tea as much. It's very we're coffee people.
Yeah, I think as well because like tea, I think it's a cultural thing as well where it's like a bonding moment. I think so. Even at work, in like an office,
hmm
you might have like a cup of tea with like a coworker or something, and just like discuss it over tea. Like
Spill the
it can just
tea
be a
over
moment
tea.
to kind of yeah. Exactly. And so even like if someone comes to like for example if we have like a builder or a plumber or whoever come to the house, like always offer them tea or sometimes coffee, but like tea is like the go-to, and like tea and some biscuits or as
Mm,
you say
cookies.
cookies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we would definitely do coffee, which is so interesting. And
Mm.
then there's the whole like Boston Tea Party, right? Like representing um
Mm.
that I don't know if maybe granted it probably is not just stemming from that, but like I don't know why we just think British people you're gonna have tea, right?
Yeah, maybe it's like to really establish like the independence from
Mm-hmm.
yeah, from Britain. So
I don't know.
like no, stuff your tea.
But I think another thing too that we've noticed, and just like a stereotype in general, is that British people are more reserved, or like won't be as direct in giving criticism, right? Or as direct in
Yes.
in anything. Would you say that's true?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I don't know if you use this idiom in America, but have you heard the term like to beat around the bush?
Oh, yes.
Do you use that? Okay, just checking, because some things don't translate. But yes, I think in the UK we do often tend to beat around the bush, which means like you don't just get to the main point. You kind of say everything around it, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's like part of a politeness thing in the UK, because if you're too direct, it's seen as quite, you know, rude, which is funny because I remember even in Korea with like American friends. So if for example they say, oh, hey, do you guys want to get dessert later, or something like that, and you know, us Brits, we'd be like, oh, you know, I'm not too sure, you know, oh, see how it goes, which is basically a no.
Yes.
But we don't want to say no. But then I remember, like, I think even Bridget, sometimes you've done this, you'll be like, oh, no, thanks. Like, and to me, like,
That's very me. Super on
yeah,
brand.
like, oh, no, thanks. And I just like, to me, that's so shocking, because I'm like, oh my God, like, how can you just say, like, not in a bad way, but it's just like the confidence. Because for me, I could never just say no. Like, I'd have to be like, oh, you know, let me see, and just like beat around the bush a bit.
And that's supposed to be a no, whereas I would take that as like, oh, maybe I should ask again later, or like I would take it as, oh, she genuinely is not sure of her plans, or like what she would want to do. Yeah, cultural differences, man. I do think too, though, in the States, it's more of a generational thing. Like, my parents, right, like in their generation would be more likely to say something like that, right? To beat around the bush.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe that's like me specifically, why I'm like, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm thinking. It's a yes or a no. And
yeah,
like, I'm just not here to waste time. Why am I going to pretend? And that's just how I see it, right? Like, that's something that I deal with a lot at work too, of like,
but it makes sense though.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think one is better or worse than the other. However, I do feel, at least as an American, that a stereotype of British people is that there's more beating around the bush, and so you have to almost read between the lines, right?
Yeah.
Or like, if somebody isn't outright saying yes, then it's probably a no.
Yeah, like it's hard to navigate.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's even harder, especially when texting, because
oh my gosh,
when you're face to face, it's like sometimes easier to kind of like infer. But when you're texting, because you're missing all things like, you know, body language, you know, all of that. So sometimes you're messaging someone, you're like, okay, I can't tell if it's like you're not into it, or like, is that a no?
Yeah.
So that's like, sometimes I'd be like, oh, it's okay if not. You know, like that kind of classic sentence, like, hey, do you want to do this later? If not, it's fine, don't worry.
It's not no worries.
Yeah. Classic. Like, I feel like that's so, especially for like us writing emails, like a professor, like, oh, hey, professor, if you don't mind, if you have some time, would you mind checking this, please? Like, if not, no worries, it's fine. Like,
that's so funny. Yeah. Interesting. And I wonder if like culturally or like generationally that'll change, right? As at least like my experience, or like leaders that I've had that are more millennial, let's say, or like, no, I just don't have time for this going back and forth, or like not knowing the true answer. Like, I'm gonna give you a straight answer and we're gonna move on.
But I do like that though, so I prefer that personally. But then it's more just like in the like kind of UK culture. Like sometimes I just want to say like, oh no thanks, and sometimes I will. But I think, you know, kind of like American culture is seeping into the UK, especially with younger people.
Yeah, that's what.
So
it's a generational thing, which is so,
time is money, people.
Time is money. I don't have a lot of it, but I'm gonna make the most of what I have. You know.
So yeah, that's so interesting, because then I think from that's where like, I think we'll have to go into, in our next episode, we'll have to go into American stereotypes.
Oh, I'm dying to know what you're thinking of us.
But I think that's why Americans, they come across as like really kind of confident and assertive. Because I think they don't tend to be indirect. They tend to be less indirect. So that's probably why people see them as like more assertive.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious. Okay, so these have been pretty tame stereotypes. Are there any kind of
not so nice
stereotypes of British? Yeah. I'm curious. Like, what are kind of like the less nice ones?
So definitely the teeth thing. Like, overall, Brits just don't have as nice of teeth. Not saying you specifically, however, stereotype.
I had Invisalign, okay? Sorry.
Let it be known, Hetty's teeth are beautiful. However,
thank you, Bridget. Yeah, you can't see on the podcast, but yes.
But yeah, that is a stereotype. And I don't know if it's necessarily going along with it, but also that, like, Brits smoke cigarettes more than the U.S.
Oh.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know if that's... Maybe it's because of you're all just drinking tea and smoking cigarettes, and that's why...
I mean, yeah, tea stains your teeth.
It does.
So...
Is that a thing?
That does make me wonder, because I thought maybe it was, like, to do with more just, like, healthcare, because in the UK, I think, well, for me anyway, after 18, you stop getting, like, free dental care. And in the UK, you only get braces if it's, like, with, like, a certain... If it's quite serious or it's, like, over a certain millimeter or something.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, you have to, like, kind of qualify for braces in the UK. So, for me, I was lucky because I was having jaw surgery. And so I had to have braces because they had to, like, straighten my teeth.
Okay. Dang.
But, yeah.
And are you... So, even if you, like, don't qualify, are you able to pay for it out of pocket?
Yes, but I think the thing is that I guess because, well, nowadays I think it's changing, but I think before it wasn't like people's main concern. So I think people didn't care. Like, I mean, if you watch, even me, sometimes when I'm watching shows from the 70s, like kind of British shows, and I see their teeth, and I'm like, okay, not to sound rude, but no offense, but I'm kind of like shocked. Because I'm like, wow, and maybe it's just because nowadays, like, you know, on Netflix, everyone has, you know, perfect pearly whites. But for me, like, even then I'm like, oh, dang. Because I think it's just, you know, maybe it's like a cultural thing. Like, teeth, they don't matter as much. Like, obviously, like, your health, your teeth health, your tooth health is important. Like, going to the dentist twice a year and stuff.
Yeah.
But then orthodontics, yeah.
Is it seen more as, like, cosmetic?
Yes. Okay. I think that's what it is. So I think as long as your teeth are healthy, they don't care where they are. So,
I mean, it makes sense. Like, if it's not, like, physically affecting your health, then, especially if you have more, like, a national health insurance, that makes sense. Whereas in the U.S., like, all medical, everything is more expensive. And so, granted, not everybody gets braces, but, like, if you can afford braces, that's something that you do for your children. Or there are people, like, in their adult years who, you know, their parents, for whatever reason, like, they couldn't get braces as a child and are now having braces. Like, I have a former coworker in their probably late 30s who was like, I'm getting braces because I've always wanted them. Like, I'm self-conscious about my teeth. And so I don't know, again, we're not solving cultural issues here, but, like, culturally why Americans started valuing teeth more or what, but we do care, and people are getting braces. Are we all wearing our retainers into adulthood? No.
That's hence why I had to go on, like, Invisalign, because I lost my retainer. But
don't tell my parents.
That's so interesting.
I don't think I've worn my retainer since like college.
But your teeth are, like, perfect, though. So, yeah, for people, like, listening, because I realised you can't see us, Bridget has, you know, straight, white, beautiful American teeth.
So does Hetty. You have very American teeth.
That's, like, the best compliment I've ever received.
Love it.
One thing I will say, I don't know if you've ever watched Love Island.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And I do not like the American ones. I prefer, like, the UK, the other countries, because they're just... The accents are better.
I love that. But also, I don't know if you've noticed, because nowadays I think a lot of younger people care about their teeth. But it's kind of, like, become a phenomenon. Have you heard about, like, turkey teeth?
No.
As in like not like gobble gobble turkey.
Not Thanksgiving teeth.
Not Thanksgiving teeth, yeah. But because apparently like Turkey is like the place to go for procedures, because I don't know, it's like a lot cheaper. I don't know if it's because they do it like more often, but so many people are going to Turkey to get like, I don't know what you call it, you know, like where they, if anyone listening, just Google turkey teeth. It's a bit terrifying because what they do is they like shave your tooth down so it looks like kind of like shark
Like
teeth.
veneers, maybe?
And they put like, yes, oh
Yeah.
yes, I think that's what it is. Yeah, veneers.
Oh.
And so they come back, but often, yeah.
Okay.
I can see you Googling it right now.
Maybe don't Google it because it looks so scary.
It's so, but the problem is that like recently a lot of people have been getting it done, but it looks really unnatural and it's like causing more problems because they go to like clinics where it's not exactly, you know,
it's more
everything's
for
above
aesthetics
board
and not like
the
health
and so
of your mouth.
they're coming back to the UK and they have to go to dentists to like fix the problem.
Yikes.
So I think British people nowadays, we do want straighter teeth, but I think, you know, I don't know if it's because like nowadays people are impatient, so they'd rather just like shave it off and get, you know, veneers than go through braces.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting. So
It is super interesting. Wow, look at us. All of these interesting tidbits. Well,
right. So
thank you for giving me some insight into these British stereotypes and if there's any truth behind them. I am very much looking forward to, also a little scared about
I was gonna say I feel scared because I can like off the top of my head I can think of so many stereotypes, but I'm like, okay, I need to tone it down a bit because I feel like when it comes to America, like the world has a lot of opinions about Americans.
Absolutely. Maybe it'll be a 2 or 3 parter coming up, but
yeah,
rank your stereotypes. Maybe if listeners want to put like in the comments different stereotypes or things that they want us to talk about Americans, or even diving back into British stereotypes, we can do that. But let's say goodbye for now because I'm going to need to prepare mentally for our next conversation.
Amazing. So anyone listening, please comment below if there are any stereotypes you'd like us to discuss. And Bridget, it was great to see you.
You too.
I'm now going to take extra care of my teeth.
I'm going to go floss. I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll chat soon.
Bye.
Bye.